I think AEW demo is almost entirely like the lapsed fan. Where's a little bit more violence? Where's a little bit more, is there blood? Why is everything so watered down? They've sat through it because they didn't have an alternative, and now they do.
I feel like if you're not satisfied at the end of Double or Nothing, you're not a wrestling fan.
Hello and welcome to a bonus edition of the WrestleVision Please Not Another Wrestling podcast, where we're going to be previewing tonight's All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing event, coming to us from the MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas. And this could be one of the most monumental moments in professional wrestling history, in terms of, if it's successful, it could very much turn the tide of the wrestling landscape. And as much as we obviously want to take a cautious approach, and we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, pretty much everything that we've heard really has been positive. Every new reveal that comes out, every interview we hear, there's always something positive, and it always gets us a little bit more excited, or at least for me anyway. There has been one hiccup along the way, which we will get to, of course, but for the most part, it's looking very, very promising indeed, and hopefully tonight will sort of help cement those thoughts and prove us right. What we're going to do is we're going to go through each match, match by match, and then give a little preview, maybe do a little prediction as well. Now, the AEW Double or Nothing pre-show, which is called The Buy-In, that's going to be on ITV4, so that's going to be on free TV. I'm only talking in UK terms because that's all I know, because I'm in the UK and I don't need to know how to watch it in America. If you are in America and you're looking for broadcast information, it will be somewhere. But here in the UK, the pre-show is on ITV4. It starts at 7 PM ET, which would make it 19 plus 5. 19 plus 5. 24. So the pre-show starts at 12 on ITV4, and then the main show starts at 1 on ITV Box Office, which you can get on the TV Player website. There's links and stuff all over the place. You'll be able to find it. But again, we'll just go through match by match. So we're going to start with Kip Sabian versus Sammy Guevara. And first of all, I'm not going to sort of pretend to know everything about all of these wrestlers. Like, there are people on this card that I don't really know, but I'm going to do my best. Kip Sabian versus Sammy Guevara looks like it's going to be a high-octane match. It's going to be a very sort of exhibition match, and it's going to get people excited. It's going to be one of them that they use to sort of highlight the fast-paced nature of wrestling, and then, because the idea of these pre-show matches is just to get people to buy the main show, really, innit? So, Guevara and Sabian is going to be an undoubtedly good match. In terms of who's going to win, I had Guevara because when they did the garden party thing, they sort of made a big deal out of Guevara. He had his own promo time and stuff. But since then, I've changed my mind to Kip Sabian because he's British, so it makes sense to me. Have the British guy win, that would please ITV and that, who they have a very good deal with, apparently. Apparently, the weekly TV is going to be on ITV4, which is absolutely huge. And obviously, if future pay-per-view events are going to be on ITV Box Office, there needs to be a good relationship between the two, and I think giving a UK guy the win on the pre-show of the first show you're doing is a good way to do that. I don't care necessarily who wins. I think both are as good as each other, and we'll just have to wait and see. The other match on the pre-show is the Casino Battle Royale, which I'm actually going to get the rules up for. So let me have a look first. I should have got it up before. Casino Battle Royale rules, because the rules are very interesting, very intriguing, and very cool actually as well. It's a little bit of a different take. Here we are. So you start with 5 men in the ring. Okay, there's 21 men altogether, 5 start in the ring, and then every 3 minutes a new wave of 5 men enter. And that's all based on like a number that you picked out of a hat or whatever. Similar to a Royal Rumble, but instead of one person coming out at a time, it's waves of 5 people. Now, that happens until there's only 1 man left, because there's 21 people, so obviously there's going to be 1 left over, there's going to be 1 remainder, and that person will enter the match last. So whoever gets the lucky 21 will be the last entrant. And it's a very, very good way of doing it, I think. It's standard rules, thrown over the top rope, both feet on the floor. But I think that's a very interesting, a very different take, and we could see 1 or 2 shock entrants. Because currently announced, we only have 17, which means there's 4 people that haven't yet been announced at time of recording, which is 20 to 2 in the UK in the afternoon. So we'll go through the entrants. We've got Sonny Kiss, we've got Brandon Cutler, Ace Romero, Glacier, Brian Pillman Jr., Sonny Days, MJF, Joey Janela, Dustin Thomas, Billy Gunn, Jimmy Havoc, Michael Nakazawa, Jungle Boy, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, is that Mark Quinn or Mark Queen, Luchasaurus, and Sean Spears, who obviously is Ty Dillinger. In terms of out of those guys who I think is going to win, I think MJF seems the most likely, because he's the one that has the most main event potential, I think. Whether it's too soon or not, he's a young guy, so they might be holding off on him just a little bit. But I forgot to mention, the winner of this will take on the winner of Jericho versus Omega in a future world title match. So you'd think a big name is going to win this match, because that's going to be your first world title match. And looking at the entrance, MJF just stands out to me. Jimmy Havoc as well, maybe. And of course it could be one of the mystery entrants. But out of the ones currently in there, I'd probably say MJF is the most likely. But that's the beauty of the Rumble, is we don't know. We don't know who's going to be in it. So, did I say Rumble? I mean, sorry, the Casino Battle Royale. Sorry. Right. The main event of the evening. So, moving away from the pre-show now. The main event of the whole show is going to be Jericho versus Omega again. And I think getting this match done now is fine. People saying, "Oh, it's a match we've already seen." That's true, but it wasn't that long ago, and there's still bad blood between them. And I think it's. I don't really hold anything against them for doing this match. I think it's absolutely fine. And obviously, the winner is going on to be in your first world title match. I think Omega probably wins, because I don't think the precedent that AEW wants to set is to have ex-WWE stars winning. And I think that, they want to set that out early. I could be wrong, but I think Omega makes the most sense either way. And it all, to be fair, pans down to who wins the Battle Royal. Because MJF versus Jericho would be a bit weird, because you've got 2, heels, for want of a better word. And, MJF versus Omega, you've got Omega as the babyface poster boy of the company against MJF, who's, the cocky heel, really. So I think Omega is probably your most likely winner. We could see some sort of shenanigans, but if we're going for a straight winner, I'd probably say Omega. Cody versus Dustin. This is an interesting one. It's a very interesting one, and I'm not sure who's going to win, because it could very easily be Dustin. Because Cody's promo, they did a little promo video, and Cody said it's not about sort of having anything against my brother, it's about killing off the Attitude Era generation. Dustin might win, because I think Cody might want It all comes down to if it's a retirement match, and I personally don't think it is. So I'm going to go Dustin. I'm going to throw a little bit of a spanner. I'm going to say Dustin might win that, because Cody might recognise that Dustin, you know, when was his last win in WWE? Bloody ages ago. So Cody might recognise that and say, if you are going to be a member of our roster, why not get a win in the first one? Because Cody's going to be hot all the time. But if he beats Dustin, Dustin might sort of peter away. I'm going to say Dustin for that one. Yeah. Be interesting to see how they do the match. Whether it's emotional or whether it's, you know, otherwise. But we'll have to see. I'm going to go Dustin though. I think Dustin might pick that one up. A three-way match, Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose versus Kylie Ray. And I'm not going to go ahead and tell you about, you know, these women, because quite frankly I don't really know much about any of them. Which I know is a bit useless. But, yeah, Nyla Rose is the bigger of the two. She's sort of the Nia Jax of the match, I guess you could say, in terms of size. You know, she's going to outpower the other two. Kylie Ray is sort of happy-go-lucky Bayley-esque, and then Britt Baker's a dentist. That's the extent of my knowledge there. I don't know, quite frankly. We'll say Britt Baker, because Britt Baker's on the front of the match card graphic, and perhaps they want to push her as one of the main faces of the women division. But like I said, don't really take any notice of that one, because I don't know. Hangman Page versus Pac. This is the one thing that I mentioned before. The one little hiccup along the way. That match had been cancelled due to creative differences. Now, according to Meltzer, which is correct, obviously, Pac was meant to win this match and then go into a feud with Omega. However, he would have lost the feud with Omega. That's where the issue came. He didn't want to lose to Omega, not necessarily because he himself didn't want to lose, but because he was going to be the Dragon Gate World Champion. He didn't sort of want to diminish the prestige of the Dragon Gate World title by losing to Omega. So, I mean, you could argue, and I would argue, that wouldn't have happened. I'd argue that would have actually boosted the prestige of that title if it was a good match and it was on a big stage and whatever. But anyway, his point of view was he didn't want to lose to Omega while having the Dragon Gate title, and there was no sign of Dragon Gate taking the title off him. So that's where the issues arose. They've ended up pulling the match. Pac's no longer on the card. Hangman Page has no confirmed opponent, but Dave Meltzer has reported that the new situation that they've got planned is better than what it would have originally been. Now, a lot of people are taking that to mean that Page is going to have a better or higher profile opponent, and while that could very much be the case, I think, you know, maybe think a little bit outside the box. Maybe it's just going to be something completely different, but we don't know. We don't. Maybe he's going to run in on the main event, something like that. I don't know. The one going round, obviously, is Jon Moxley. When he did his first sort of video thing after leaving WWE, there was the little hint in there. It was like the dominoes with the 25 on. Was that a hint? Was it a rib? We don't know. We'll have to find out. He's the one that a lot of people are banking on turning up at some point on the show. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not, but we'll have to wait and see. As for Page's new plan, it could be a match on the card where it's just a new opponent, and maybe it is Moxley, but it could be something entirely different. We'll have to wait and see. The next match, we're getting towards the end now. We've got SoCal Uncensored, we've got Kazarian, Scorpio Sky, and the head of talent relations, Christopher Daniels, versus Strong Hearts, Shima, T-Hawk, and Lindemann. Now, there's two ways of looking at this. The first one is that SCU are sort of, you can't really bet against them because they always tend to win, quite frankly. They're good pals with Cody in the books. Daniels has got that position of the head of talent relations. But the other way of looking at it is we've got AEW's relationship with OWE, Oriental Wrestling Entertainment, over in China. And Shima is the... what's the word? I can't remember the word. I want to get his exact title right. He is the something of... come on, where is it? He is the president, that's the one. Shima is the president of Oriental Wrestling Entertainment, and they might give them three the win to help build that relationship and to help show that OWE are sort of not just going to... because the thing is, apparently they're going to turn up on shows and they're going to have like AEW versus OWE matches, or perhaps even OWE versus OWE matches, and they're just going to give that promotion a little showcase of its own, sprinkled in every now and then. So that this match might be a way of showing that it's not like, for example, the Cruiserweights on Raw. It's not just a way to fill time or a bathroom break match. No, they're there as a members of the roster. And this might be a way to establish that. And for that reason, I'm actually going to change my original prediction and go with Strong Hearts, because I think that I've talked myself into that one. Yeah. Up next, we have another match that I'm not necessarily confident in my knowledge of. We've got Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Imai Sakura taking on Hikaru Shida, Ryo Arbi, and Ryo Mizunami. I may have butchered some of those, I do apologise if I did. I've heard of Aja Kong, and for that reason I'm going to go her team, because, you know, she's somewhat of a legend. Maybe they just want to give one legend a win. Mind you, we've got Goldust as well, or Dustin I should say. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, we'll go with Aja Kong because I really don't have a clue. But yeah, that's another match on the card. That's some good insight from me there. AAA World Tag Team Championship match. The only title match on the card is the Young Bucks defending against the Lucha Bros. And this is going to be rather good, I think. As to who wins, I think the Bucks will retain. Cody didn't get a win in his match, as per my predictions, so I think at least, you know, one of those two will get a win. And if it's not Cody, then I think it will be the Young Bucks. You know, perhaps Pentagon or Phoenix can be moved up the card. And obviously, Pentagon is the one that seems to get the better singles push. You know, going by Impact, he's been in the world title mix, he's been the world champion. And Phoenix never does, but for my money, Phoenix is even, you know, as good as, maybe even slightly better. Brilliant, excellent. That's exactly what I wanted to happen there. Oh well, that's gone well. Right. Excellent. As I was saying, for my money, Pentagon is, Phoenix is just as good as, perhaps even better than Pentagon. So, you know, if they're going to push one guy, I'd like to see it be Phoenix, to be quite honest, because, like I say, Pentagon is the one that usually gets it. And I think perhaps the Young Bucks retaining could allow for Pentagon and Phoenix to do their own things. Could be wrong. Lucha Brothers could retain. But I think the Young Bucks are going to the Lucha Brothers could win, but I think the Young Bucks are going to retain, based on what I just said. And then the final match on the card is the Best Friends taking on Angelico and Jack Evans. And they made quite a big deal out of Angelico and Evans's sort of signings when they did the signing reveal video thing. They were made out to be quite a big deal. But I think the Best Friends will take it. You know, they're good pals with the Young Bucks and Cody. They've known them for a while. This might be one of those times where they just give their mates a win. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to go with Best Friends either way to pick up the win. Just a hunch, you know. Don't go against your gut, isn't it? And that's the card, and it doesn't blow me away. However, it does have the potential to be very, very good. You know, even the matches that are slightly lesser, perhaps you could describe them as, could still be absolutely brilliant matches. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it could be really good. And hopefully it lives up to expectations, the show. Hopefully there is 1 or 2 shocks in there, because they've teased that. And even in Meltzer's report, he said, regarding the Pac thing, there's going to be a shock involved. Or he said, with shocks and surprises, the new situation is better. I think that's the exact quote. And they've got a really good roster. They've got a few hours. They've got really good broadcasts. And they could do really, really well. In terms of the people who they've signed that aren't on the card, obviously Adam Page, because his match got cut, but he should have something new. Darby Allin isn't on the card, and who else is there? Peter Avalon isn't either, so we could see them turn up in the Battle Royal, I guess, as unannounced entrants. But then that still leaves 2 more. So, we've got a little bit of a surprise in store, I feel. Don't know who it is, obviously, because otherwise it wouldn't be a surprise, would it? But, yeah. I think that's all we need to go through. So, if you are watching this video, certainly let us know down in the comments your predictions and what you think of the show. Do you think it's going to live up to expectations? What are your expectations? Definitely let us know that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. We will have our regular podcast out tomorrow, I assume, which we're going to focus on this past week's WWE programming more than anything. We might even do a bit of a review of AEW, Double or Nothing. The only reason we've done it as a bonus one, really, is because we only have 30 minutes. We set a 30-minute cap for these episodes, and we're on like 21 minutes now, which would only give us 10 minutes to talk about WWE, and so much happened in WWE this past week that I don't think we'd be able to get through it in 10 minutes. So we're going to have the regular podcast tomorrow, I believe. If not, then we haven't, have we? Which, whatever. But anyway, subscribe so you don't miss anything new. Hit the like button, leave your comments. Don't forget to share. Obviously, it's a new podcast, so the more you share it, the more viewers we get, the more interactive we can be, and the more fun we can have and stuff. Yeah. Thanks for watching or listening, whatever you did to this. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.